Hey fellow foodies! For this week's dim sum recipe, we're making soft fluffy char siu buns, also called steamed barbecue pork buns. This recipe is a little bit more work than the other videos because it has 3 parts: the pork, the sauce, and the buns. We will start by making our char siu marinade for the pork. In our container, we're going to add in half a cup of Hoisin Sauce, half a cup of molasses, half a cup of Shaoxing Wine, 1/4 cup of soy sauce, 1/4 cup of oyster sauce, 1 teaspoon of 5-spice powder, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder, also 1 tablespoon of sesame oil, and also 1 tablespoon of fermented bean curd. The fermented bean curd will add that umami flavor and also gives it that red color. Then we're going to mix it well to combine. Then we're going to place our pork. I'm using pork shoulder in this video. It's best to marinate this overnight or at least 6 hours. Line a rack with foil for easier cleanup and place your pork on a rack. Then we're going to be pouring 2 cups of water underneath to prevent from burning, and it also helps with the moisture of your pork. Reserve the marinade and we will bring it to a boil. Then we're going to reduce it for 3 minutes on medium until it thickens. We're going to use half of that to baste and the rest for serving. Bake at 350 degrees Fahrenheit for about 30 minutes. Then turn and baste your pork 3 times more. I cooked mine for about 45 minutes. And to check for doneness, the thermometer should read about 140 degrees to 145 degrees when it's done cooking. Let it rest for 15 minutes before slicing. Slice it and serve on top of rice or noodles. Half of my recipe I will cut into small cubes for our char siu buns. Next, let's make our char siu sauce. In a pot, put about 1 tablespoon of oil, saute 1 tablespoon of ginger slices, and 2 tablespoons of scallions for about 2 minutes or until fragrant. Then we're going to add in 1 cup of chicken stock, half a cup of oyster sauce, half a cup of molasses, and also 1 tablespoon of honey. Mix well, and then we're going to discard the ginger and scallions before adding in 1 tablespoon of cornstarch slurry. This will help thicken the sauce. Then lastly, add in 350 grams of your cut up pork cubes and then mix well with the sauce and then set aside. For our Bao Wrapper recipe, we would need 300 grams of all-purpose flour or cake flour or even Chinese bun flour. Then add in 70 grams of sugar, mix, and also add in 150 ml of water and then combine until there are no more dry spots. We're going to let this rest for about 20 minutes. After that, we're going to add in 7 grams of yeast and 9 grams of baking powder. Then continue to knead the dough until combined. Then we're going to transfer it on a little bit floured surface and then continue kneading until smooth. This will take about 8 to 10 minutes. Flatten it out and make an indent in the center and add in 1 tablespoon of oil. Gather your dough and knead until the dough absorbs all the oil. When it is fully absorbed, add in another 1 tablespoon of oil and knead it again. At this point, knead your dough for a few more minutes until smooth. This will take about 10 to 12 minutes. After that, we're going to put our dough back in our bowl and cover and let it sit for about 2 hours until it has doubled in size. After it has doubled in size, we will then weigh our dough. It should come out to about 530 grams or a bit more. We will then roll our dough into a log and cut it into 16 even pieces. Each piece should weigh about 33 to 35 grams each to make 16 dough buns. I weighed mine and rolled them out into a ball. Make sure to cover with a towel while doing this so that your dough doesn't dry out. After you have formed all of your pieces, we will start by taking one. Flatten it with your hand and roll it out about 6 inches in diameter. Then, we will just roll the edges and leave the middle part a little bit thicker than the outer part so that it will hold our meat. Do this for all 16 dough balls for easier wrapping later. After we have flattened our dough ball, we will then fill each wrapper with about 2 tablespoons of meat filling. Then using our index finger, we will then push and fold the wrapper just like this. Use our thumb to press the meat into the center and keep doing it until the wrapper closes. Then tuck and press the remaining dough. It should look like this. I will show you again how it is done a little bit slower. Don't worry if it doesn't come out like the ones in the restaurants. Making it perfect takes years of practice, just like making dumplings or sushi rice. The important thing is to seal all of the edges just so that the filling doesn't come out during the cooking process. Another important thing is, after forming all the buns, cover it with a damp towel and let it rest for about 30 minutes for the second rise. This will give the buns a nice and fluffy texture. I already have my steamer going, so just place them on a plate and steam for at least 15 to 20 minutes. You can also put it on a parchment or wax paper squares at the bottom of each bun before placing on a plate for easier serving. I know it might be a process to do this particular dim sum treat, but it's worth it in the end. These juicy buns are such a delight to have. Please don't forget to click like, share, and subscribe to my channel for more at-home easy recipes to try. And as always, thanks for watching!